I found the absolute best value in the 3/4 ton HD segment. This is a Chevy Silverado 2500 HD, and this is a custom model. Everything that you see here is standard. Now I have to give a special shout out to Jerry Seiner Chevrolet here in Salt Lake City. They have a huge selection of new cars and used cars, and if you're in the market for a commercial vehicle, you might want to give them a call. They are pretty stacked over here. Not saying they're available, but just saying you should give them a contact if you need a commercial vehicle.
But let's face it, the Silverado 2500 Crew Cab Custom is in a class of its own. Ford nor Ram have anything to compete with this truck at this price point with these types of features. So I love the painted black bumper front and rear, and I like the 20-inch wheels. Again, this truck gives you the look of a higher trim level on a budget. Now take a look at some of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause it. One thing I want to note is it does have a 7-inch touchscreen, and it also has a 4.2-inch screen in the gauge cluster. And standard vehicle price, check that out, $49,300 for a gas engine. That is incredible, just under $50,000. And if you add the diesel with the custom value package, gooseneck fifth wheel, safety confidence, and a few other things like the 10-way driver's seat, not a bad option for $290. You can get this truck for under $65,000. That's with destination. You cannot get a pickup on the market at this price point from Ram or Ford unless you get their lowest trim levels with a smaller cab on the Ford side of the house.
Now back to the Chevy Silverado. As I mentioned, this is the best valued pickup right now. Everything that you see is going to be standard. These wheels, the front end, there is no upgrades here. And you could have this truck for under $50,000 with a gas engine. That is an incredible deal. Now this is going to be a diesel as you just saw, but nevertheless, this is a great option. I love the high gloss black bumper on the front. It looks really well with the black grille. These are going to be halogen headlights, but for the price point, it's not a big deal. You do have tow hooks down below too. And even though this is a low trim level, it does still have the active grille shutters. You have a functional hood scoop because this is the Duramax diesel. And it's going to have that 10-speed Allison, but we'll pop the hood here in a second. But check out the wheel design. This is a really, really aggressive looking truck. And one thing I like about these wheels, this is a 20 by 8.5, so you can get a meaty tire on this truck too. And the tire's going to be a Goodyear Wrangler. And these are going to be the trail runners too. And then here's your tire size, LT 275, 65, 20. And it's going to have 3,750 pounds of capacity. Nothing new here, but independent front suspension. And I like how they give you this fabric material in here. This is really easy to power wash if you do go down dirt roads and things like that. Now, one thing I will mention, this is a lower trim level, so these are not going to be power. So these are going to be manual operated, and they won't have the auto close too. But again, you're getting this truck under $65,000, so who cares? Your black handles go well with the overall truck too. And this does have the side steps in the bed. And as I mentioned in the last video, if you are getting a 2500, you do not have overload leaf springs, but they still give you the 5 leaks in the main pack here too. 36-gallon fuel tank, 7-gallon DEF tank. And this is a 6-foot, 10-inch bed too. Now, as you guys saw in the front, you had that black bumper. Even in the back, they continue that design back here too. Now, something you guys saw on the window sticker was a customer value package, and it is going to give you the easy lift tailgate. And this one does have the 5th wheel prep package, 4 and 7-pin connector, and you do get the bed lights too with that package. Cargo plug on this side. This is a great value for a pickup. Not gonna lie, this is a really good option. Class 5 receiving hitch, which has a 2.5-inch opening, and it does have the reducer in there right now. Now, you do have a 342 rear axle, and I like what GM did with this truck. I think that their engineers did a good job really thinking it through, because you cannot lower the gears on this truck. Because with the Allison 10 speed, you have really low first, second, and third gears. So when you're cruising on the highway, the way that this truck is geared out back, you're going to get better fuel economy. So you have the grunt that you need in the transmission, but out back you still have a good combination of towing and fuel economy. Here's a better look at the pickup too. There is no smart key system on the side of the door there, but that is available on higher trim levels. Now let's go ahead and take a look under the hood so we can check out this Duramax diesel. I've shown you guys under the hood of probably hundreds of these trucks, including my own. But what don't you know about this that I haven't told you? So let's start off by saying this does have a cast iron engine block. And one thing that's really cool is this does use a Borg-Warner turbo. For some reason I thought they were using something else. And for all the people who remember back in the day, GM was the first one to incorporate that CP4 fuel pump by Bosch. Now, we all knew that thing sucked, and they have since discontinued their usage of it because of it. Ram has done the same thing, and I believe Ford is still using that CP4. Now, because of the diesel standards here in the United States, that's why that fuel pump didn't hold up well, because our diesel doesn't have the lubricants necessary to keep it, reliable. So they did switch over to a Denso fuel pump, and it's going to be the GS4 to Gen 3. And one thing I know about Denso is it's a really, really reliable product because Toyota uses it, and everyone says Toyota's reliable, right? So good on GM for switching over to that one. This does have 445 horsepower, 910 pound-feet of torque. It's not class leading in any way, but it's reliable. They've been using this since 2017, and I would say that this diesel is probably the most solid one on the market because it hasn't been changed so much over the years. As I mentioned earlier, 10-speed transmission, known as the Allison, has that stamp of approval, and I think this is a solid setup here. It's one of the best riding and best handling trucks on the road, and it's super smooth. Now, as far as the interior goes, the Custom is a step up, as I mentioned earlier, from the work truck. So you're going to see power seats here. This is going to be a 10-way too, including the lumbar support. And power windows, power door locks. You can still power these mirrors too on the outside. The only thing you can't power is extending them and folding them in. And here's some of the other controls you have here. Your tow haul modes right there, full drive system, and some of your lighting controls right there. Cruise control is still there. And overall, this is a great design for the interior. You're gonna have cloth seats, but they have a nice appearance. Back in the day, cloth seats was like the kiss of death because they were always so ugly. But these definitely look really nice. Now getting inside, this does not have any running boards. And for me, I'm tall, so it doesn't really matter. I can get in here pretty easily, but my wife might have a problem with that. Electronic parking brake. And this one does not have push button start. But again, you're getting a truck for under $65,000 that can tow pretty heavy. But here's the key for the truck. You do have remote start. If you want to use that, all you have to do is just hold this down for about 3 seconds. Starts up the pickup. And all you gotta do is just install the key, and then you're off. And there's some great information in this screen right here, so I'm going to use this toggle on the side. So you're at the trip 1 now, trip 2, fuel range, oil life, tire pressure, air filter, brake pad, fuel economy, fuel filter life, and it has a DEF level for you here, and then an info page. And then off to the side, this is the smaller display here. You're still going to have things like Apple CarPlay and things like that too. So you can see it right there. And although it doesn't have navigation built in, you still can use it through your phone through the screen. And you have your trailer light check. There's a lot of great information in here, guys. I mean, I think that for the price point, this is one of the hardest ones to beat. And you still have OnStar too. And something that I like about GM is they still give you the LED lighting for the interior. I know with Ram they do not when you get the lower trim levels. And you have USBs, DC and AC power. You still have a trailer brake, exhaust brakes right there. This is going to be your 6-passenger setup too. Great center console. And there is no storage under this side of the seat here. Now you are going to have a manual seat on this side, and I will show it to you here, but before I do that, here's a quick look at your storage. and a little bit more up top. Worth noting, you do have a mirror here and one on the passenger side for wifey. Now in the passenger door, you do have space for like water bottles. And this is a manually operated seat, as I mentioned. No lumbar. And then check out back here. I like that they still give you a 60-40 bench per seat. You don't normally see that on the lower trim levels. They provide air vents down below. And then check out the floor space you have in this truck too. It's a really big cab. So as far as your towing numbers go, let's take a look here. This is going to have a gross axle weight rating up front at 5,600 pounds. The rear is going to be 6,600 pounds. This actually has the highest rear gross axle weight rating in this segment. Ram's is 6,040 for a diesel. And I can't remember what Ford's is, but I'll put it here for you. And 20 by 8.5 inch wheels, as I mentioned. And then check out your towing numbers here. So the gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 11,350. Gross combined weight rating is going to be 27.5. And your curb weight is 8,034 pounds. So this is a heavy pickup truck. And that's a good thing because if you're towing, this weight does help give you more stability in my opinion. Max payload for this truck is going to be 3,316 pounds. 18.5 conventional trailer is what you can tow up to. 1850 is the tongue weight. And then 18.5 gooseneck with a max pin weight of 2,775 pounds. And for anyone that wants to see this yellow sticker, here it is. But as I've said in the past, this is the only 3/4 ton truck that I could use to tow my fifth wheel because of the payload. And the reason why it's so high is because they increased the gross vehicle weight rating on the 3/4 tons. And in the past, it always had like a 10,000 pound GWR, which really robbed you from your payload. But I hope this video was helpful. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Give Jerry Signer a look out. Special shout out again to these guys for allowing me to do this video. And I'll see you guys soon.